Hey guys, welcome to the Codango YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'll be showing us how we can use Firebase to authenticate a login and registration form with the help of JavaScript and HTML. So let's look at a quick demo of what is going to be done here. So I type a bunch of random characters in the HTML email field, then I type same thing in the password and I try to sign in. So I get an error message in form of an alert box saying the email address is badly formatted. So let me probably add an extension of a correct email format there and see what's going to happen. And sign in. See, we still get an error message that says there is no user record corresponding to this identifier. So let's now try to sign up and then sign in again. So to create a new email address, let me say code@gmail.com, then password, let me type 123456, then I sign up. So user has been signed up. Now let's try to sign in with that same email address. So let's sign in this time, and yeah, we get routed to a form of dashboard where we have a huge sign out button. Let's try to sign out back. So if we do that, we get routed back to the login page. So that's basically what we'll be building today. So it should be a short video. Let's get started. Let's head in straight up to our file explorer on Windows. So over here, let's go to documents. Then I'm going to create a new folder called auth. So inside auth, I'm going to open VS Code by typing in code dot. So it opens VS Code for us. So inside VS Code, I'm going to create a new file called index.html. Oh, what am I doing? Index.html. Then let's generate a boilerplate template, a boiler code template, and call this authenticate. So to create the form, I'm going to be using a CSS library called MD Bootstrap. So what we can do is, in a new window, I'm going to type in MD Bootstrap form templates. So in the results over here, we are going to see a bunch of different templates. So I'm going to go with the first result over here. So I'm just going to copy that, then I'm going to paste it on the page, then I save. So with the help of a plugin called Live Server, I open this in the browser. So oh, it doesn't load any of the CSS. So for it to load the CSS on the page, we need to search for the bootstrap MD Bootstrap CDN. So let's click on that. So over here we have the CDN, the CSS CDN. So I copy that, then I put it in the header tag, then I save. Okay, this is not looking good. So what we can do is to add some padding or some margin rather to the body of the page. So to do that, I'm going to create a new CSS file. So I'm going to call it style.css. So body, I'm gonna give it a margin. The margin I'm going to make in percentage to make it a little bit more responsive. So top we give it 7%, and the right we give it 30%, bottom we don't give it any margin. Then on the left hand side, to make it in the center, we give that also 30%. So let's check out how the page looks like. Oh, we haven't linked the style CSS we just created. So to do that, I'm gonna create a new link tag. So it's gonna be a rel of style sheets and then an href of style dot css. Of course, let's close it, then we save. Let's check it out on the page. So perfect. So I'm gonna remove this part. We don't need that. We just need a sign in and a sign up button. So to do that, okay, let me increase the font of this code editor for you to see what I'm doing much more clearly. So to do that, I'm going to head over to where the forgot password is. I'm going to remove that div, and also the same thing with the checkbox. I think it ends somewhere around here. So let me save. So perfect. So next thing I want to do is to add an extra button to the page. So let me highlight that, then shift alt the down arrow key, then I type in sign up, actually not sign out, sign up, then I save. Oh, the buttons are joined together. We can actually add something, CSS MD bootstrap CSS class called MB. It's up to 5. You can add 1 2 3 4 5 depending on how big you want the margin to be. Let's make it 3, then I save. So we can see there's a bit of margin bottom between them. Next thing we're gonna do is to link the, okay, let's add IDs to the page. So for us to add IDs to the page, we can, okay, this already has an ID, but I'm going to give it an input of email ID, input of email, and then this is going to be for password, input password. Then for the buttons too, they are going to need some IDs too. So this is going to be ID sign in. Same thing is going to be a ID sign up. Sign up. Yes. Thank you for that intelligence. So the next thing we are going to need to do is to add the script tag to make our page accessible to Firebase. So to do that, I'm going to go to the project settings. So in the project settings, we have the script tag over here. So I'm going to copy the whole of that. So I'm going to put it just below the form here. So I'm also going to, there are usually two. So because the second one is going to be auth, so we're going to be needing that too. So I'm going to remove this app and I'm going to type in auth. So let me save that and then let me check the console in case we have any form of errors. No error, perfect. So I think that's the last thing we need to, okay, at the top of the page, let me just type giving an history tag of registration slash login form. To make the text in the center, I'm gonna give it a CSS the bootstrap CSS class of text center, text dash center. So let's save that. So that's it for the design of our page. Is if the form is kind of responsive, so let's add we can now link JavaScript to make our projects functional. So in VS Code, let's create a new file called app.js, and then let's link app.js in, okay, let it be below each of the script stack so that we won't have any issues. So we can have an src, it's called to app.js. Perfect. So JavaScript is now linked to our HTML. So in the JavaScript app.js page file, we need to copy this Firebase config object and then paste it in here. Something to know, this API key, I think you shouldn't bother trying to copy mine. You should create your own project, because at the end of this video, I'll be deleting this particular Firebase project. So you don't need to try anything in terms of maybe trying to log in, trying to hack my account or anything. So moving on, we need to initialize Firebase. So let me create a comment here saying initialize Firebase. Now, to do that, we just need to call Firebase dot initialize app. Then we pass in the Firebase config that was given to us in our project from Firebase. This is Firebase. So let's create a variable called auth. So this variable gives us access to the backend services in Firebase. So we're gonna make reference to it later. But first thing, the next thing we're gonna do here is the sign up button. So this is gonna be a sign up function, and we're gonna be making reference to our HTML button with the help of the JavaScript get element by ID. So let's create a variable called sign up button. So let's sign up button is equals to documents dot get element by ID. Then let's check HTML for the sign up button. What's it called anyways? Sign up. So let's copy both everything here. Then the next one is going to be sign in button. I think that's gonna be signing. Okay, this is gonna be later, so let me just put that down because we need to add an event listener to the sign up button. We need to first make it functional before we check out the sign in button. So let's add event listener. So sign up button dot add event listener. So it's gonna be a click event. It usually takes in two arguments. So the second one is gonna be e. What's going on? E. So for it to prevent the default behavior of the form, that is normally when you create a form and then you try to submit the form, it's kind of refreshes itself. So we need to prevent that. So our form will be able to perform the function we want it to perform. So we need to make reference to the email and the password. Like we need to get their values when we try to submit the sign up button. So to do that, we're going to create two variables, one for email and another for password. So the email, we are also going to use the document dot get element by ID. So for our index.html, the ID is input email. So for the password, it's called what? Input password. Okay, so this is password. Why is my caps lock coming on? So let's try to console.log this to see what we get in the console. So this is going to be email dot value. We want to get the values of the form, and so this is going to be password dot value too. So let me save that and then back to the HTML page. Okay, it's null. Let me type in some random characters. So okay, we're getting null for one of them. Value, not node value for the email. So once again, let me try AAA 123. So AAA 123. So our forms value are being logged to the console, but we want them actually to go to the backend service of Firebase. So to do that, let's make reference to the auth function and then call a Firebase default function called create user with email and password, I think. password. So it's gonna take in two arguments. So the first is email dot value, and the second one is going to be password dot value. So what this does is it returns a promise. So we need to subscribe to the promise by calling the dot then, and then give it an argument of user credentials. We're gonna log this to the console anyways to see what's in there. Credentials. Let's open a curly brace. It doesn't have the arrow. Okay. So what we can do is console.log user credentials. So let me save that and go back to the page. And let's try to sign up with something reasonable. code@gmail.com. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sign up. Okay, we get an error here. It says first argument email must be a valid string. Why does this keep returning not value? It's dot value, not value. Anyways, let's try again. code@gmail.com. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's sign up. Must also be a valid string. Node, what's going on? I think I have too many plugins going on. That's what's causing this. So maybe I'm gonna check out my what's it called, my plugins again. It's really frustrating. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So let's sign up this time. Hopefully there won't be any. Yes, so the user credentials is here, and the user has been signed in, and you can see this particular field. It says user.email, so it has the email of the user. And when we go back to the Firebase config and under authentication, we can see we have one user, that's code@gmail.com. So this user is signed in right now, which is great. So actually, I think we can just try to probably log the user email to the console too. So let's create a new variable instead of having the bunch of what's it called, user bunch of objects. You can just say user credentials. Oh, okay, user.email. This is gonna log the email. We say CLG. We're gonna log the user to the user's email to the console. But before we do that, I would like to catch some errors, because anything can go wrong. So it's good practice to always watch out for that. So I'm gonna do a dot catch. I'm gonna pass in an error argument. So what we can do is create a variable. You can check out the documentation. Most of this are in the documentation, so you can check it out. But what I need is the error message. So let me just go with the error message, not the error code. Error message. So error message, error message. And I can also create an alert box to then display the error message if there is an error to the browser. So this is done for the sign up function, but we can try one more thing. Let's try one more time to see if there will be any form of errors. Okay, this should be user credentials, not user credentials dot user. So this is going to be user.email as was returned in the object. So let's save that and then enter. let's try to sign up with some bunch of wrong things. So we have the email address is badly formatted. Now let's try to sign up with the former email address. So code@gmail.com. Guess we should get something like the email already exists. It's already used by another account. So great. Now let's deal with the sign in function. So I'm gonna copy everything here. So paste it to the bottom. So this is gonna be sign in function. So this is gonna be sign in button. So this is gonna be sign in, get element by sign in. Make use of the sign in. It has an event listener. Same thing we did practically, but this one is gonna be, instead of create user with email and password, it's gonna be sign in with email and password. Okay, we pass in the email value and the password value, user credentials. Okay, great. So let me just also add an alert here to show us that the user has been signed in. So passing the user dot email, and let's save. Let's try to sign in and see what happens. So code@gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. Wait, identifier sign-in button has already been declared. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, we've already declared that. So let's save and then go back to the page. So code@gmail.com 1 2 3 4 5 6. Sign in. So we have that. It's code@gmail.com. So there are two more things I want us to do. The first is to display the user's email on the page. So to do that, I'm going to create a new tag, and it's going to be below the form right here. Let's give it an h5 tag and say welcome user. Then we can give it an ID of user. So in our JavaScript page, there's this lifecycle hook, something like a lifecycle hook that monitors the changes in the page. It's called the onAuthStateChanged function. It's also one of the backend services of Firebase. It allows us to monitor everything that happens in the Firebase backend. So I'm gonna create that now. So function. So it takes in a user argument. Okay, it's not supposed to be here. So perfect. So if the user is signed in, then we get an access to the email. So email.user. So what we can now do is make use of the get element or by ID that we created. So it's going to be var users equals to document dot get element by ID. So we call the h3 tag user. the h5 tag rather we created in the HTML. We call this user, so that's going to monitor our changes. Then we are going to create a new text node. So to do that, let's create a new variable called text. So document dot create text node. This enables us to append a new text at the front of the h5 tag. So to do that, we're just gonna make reference to the users. Wait. This is supposed to be below. Okay. Supposed to be below. Okay, that is fine. So we can just say users dot append child, which is going to be the test. Also above, when the user signs up, I want the page to reload, so I can just do something called location.reload. So let me save everything I've done, and then let's create a new user, and let's see if it's going to display on the page the email on auth states changed. It's not a function. It's actually on auth states changed, not changed. There's a D at the end. Also, there's a comment I would like us to take note of, so you can go through this in the code. I'm going to be putting the code on GitHub, so you understand what this on auth states change really does, so you understand it better. So the error is gone. Let's try to create. Yeah, okay, we don't even need to actually sign up again. We can see that the current user that is logged in, this is the email code@gmail.com. So that's perfect. Now let's try to create a sign out. So to create a sign out, I'm going to be creating a new file. This is going to be like a dashboard. So let me just do something like dash.html and then copy everything here and then paste it here. So basically we are trying to do something in the form of routing the users to a new page once they sign into the application. You get the idea of what I mean? Just like when you log in into an application, it takes you to another page. So from there you can now decide to sign out. So that's what we are trying to do here. So I can just say welcome to the dashboard. So we are going to have a button. Let me just copy the button, one of the buttons here, to make things faster. So this is gonna be sign out. Sign out. Okay, I think that's all. Then we can create a new app2.js, a new app. So just like we did earlier, I'm going to just copy this and put it here, and then also I think that's all we need. So the sign out button functionality is kind of pretty straightforward. So what we can do is just let's reference to the sign out button. Sign out button is equals to document dot get element by id. So we called it sign out, right? So like we've done in previous occasions, we need to add an event listener to the page. It's gonna be a click event. We prevent default as usual to make things easier. So all we need to do is just to call the auth.signout function, which is coming from Firebase. So what I want us to do is, once we click on that, the next thing I want us to do is maybe alert sign out, and also route us back to the login page. So window.location is equals to index.html. So this will route us back. And also when we sign in, I want us to be routed to the dashboard. So what we can do is, in this app.js, we can just in the sign in button, once we sign in, we can just also have a window dot location is equals to dash dot html. I think that's all I want us to do. Let's now see if this is fully functional. So let's sign in with an already created user, which is code at gmail.com, then 12345 6. If I sign in, I get routed to the dashboard. Cannot read add this now, no. Okay, I think I know where that is coming from. In our dash template, it's no longer app.js, it's now app-2.js. So let me save that. I believe that should disappear. So yeah, we can now sign out, and we will get routed back to the registration form. So let's create a new user, then we call it a day. Let me say the code angle at gmail.com 12345 6. Let's sign up. So we get the welcome user, the code angle at gmail.com. When we check the dash, the Firebase dashboard rather, and we refresh, we can see that this email has already been signed in here. So let's try to sign in after registering into the dashboard. So the code angle gmail.com 12345 6. Let's sign in. So that's it. Perfect. Sign out back, and we get routed back to the login form. So that's it, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.